Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be reviewing a Korean drama called My ID Is Gangnam Beauty. I've watched a few Korean dramas before, and I tend to find them pretty entertaining, but also a little bit too predictable, and especially after the first half of the drama, I feel like the second half generally tends to drag on for a bit, and they sometimes throw in extra characters or drama that doesn't really make that much sense to the story or doesn't really align with the personalities of the characters up to that point. So while I have watched some Korean dramas, I definitely have a tendency to binge watch the first half of the show and then sort of skip through parts, like big chunks of the episodes in the second half, because I can just quite easily guess what's gonna happen, and I know it's a lot of drama that will take like 2 episodes to be resolved or something that could just as easily take 10 minutes in the show. So basically it's not often that I watch a Korean drama from beginning to end without skipping any parts of any episodes, and that's exactly why I wanted to review this show, because I started watching it on Netflix since it was recommended to me, and I thought the plot seemed fairly interesting and up my alley, so I decided to give it a shot, but I definitely didn't think it would be as good as I found it to be. Basically, My ID Is Gangnam Beauty is about a girl who was very bullied as a kid and teenager for looking weird and different, and she's considered ridiculously ugly, like really ugly, and everyone makes fun of her. No one wants to be friends with her. There's a point where she has a crush on a guy from school and she confesses her feelings to him, and his reaction isn't, oh, I don't like you back, but thank you for telling me, or anything like that. He just straight up tells her, don't you dare speak a word of this to anyone else, because it would be really embarrassing for me and like shameful if anyone knew that you liked me, because you're that ugly. And it's pretty brutal. There are a lot of flashbacks in the first episode especially that are just really quite cruel and terrible, and it makes you really empathize with the character a lot. But unfortunately, you never really get to see what she looks like, because whenever you see the character at first, she's always covered up with a hoodie or being blocked by like a tree or someone else when she's talking just something. You never see her face. Anyway, she asks her mom if she can get plastic surgery done because she's just tired of being mocked and teased and harassed and made fun of at school, and she wants to just be able to socialize a bit more and have more friends and have more of a social life. The mom immediately agrees and understands that if you are a girl and you're very ugly, it's very hard to make friends and to get to know people and stuff like that, but the dad is completely against the idea. He's a typical I love you so much because you're my daughter dad, that he doesn't even think she's ugly at all. Because of the way he sees her, he doesn't understand why she wants to get surgery done, and he doesn't agree with it at all. So the mom and the main character go behind the father's back, and the mom basically signs all the paperwork for her to get plastic surgery, and she undergoes a complete facial transformation, and she just looks like a standard Korean beauty. To me, honestly, when I first saw the character's face after she had the surgery done, I thought she looked a lot like IU, the Korean singer. Basically what I've described up until now is the first episode of the show. After that, she gets into a university and she tries to make friends and is actually hit on by a lot of guys. She develops a crush on someone who used to go to school with her and knows what her actual face looked like before. So she keeps begging him, please don't tell anyone what I used to look like. You don't even have to say we knew each other, we can just act like we're total strangers. Basically, he knows what she looked like before, and he thought that she was a really nice, really caring, kind of funny person before, even though, because he never really expressed this to her, there is a point when she thinks that he only likes her now because of her looks, but He later explains that that's not the case, that he always thought she was a nice and interesting person. Over the course of the episodes, they start having feelings for each other, and it's really quite cute and sweet. Up to this point, a pretty standard love story, apart from the plastic surgery stuff in the beginning, and at this point, I really thought I knew where the story was gonna go, that some girl was gonna try to take him away, kind of, and there would be a misunderstanding, they would temporarily break up, he would apologize, explain himself, and then they would get back together and live happily ever after, but it wasn't anything like that. She is also approached by this girl at the university who is the most popular girl in school because she's supposedly a natural beauty, and she seems to be very kind and very nice and very caring, and she seems to genuinely try to help other people and encourage them, and is just a very supportive person to pretty much anyone, including complete strangers, which is a little bit weird, but you know, fine. Only later on, as time progresses and the episodes go on, you start realizing that she's not like what she acts like. She's just constantly lying to everyone. She tends to do things like set up two people together, or see two people being set up together, and she moves in on the guy, starting up weird, kind of vague conversations about, so how are things going with your girlfriend? And the guy, obviously, goes, oh, she's not my girlfriend, we just are getting to know each other a bit, but we're not in a committed, serious relationship or anything like that. And she goes, oh, well, then if you're not in a serious relationship, you might as well not be together. Like, if I, for instance, told you that I liked you, would you break up with her for me or not? Because if you would break up with her that easily, then you might as well not even be with her. Just weird conversations like that, and they always work. She always gets her way. She always manages to plant this idea in the minds of every guy she talks to that she could be interested in them, that she could want to be with them, that maybe she has a crush on them, that they really need to dump whoever they're seeing to even maybe have a chance with her because she's the most popular girl in school and supposedly the prettiest one, and every guy just wants to do it for the popularity and the bragging rights. And it's a bit sad, honestly, but it's amazing how good she is at doing this. And at the same time, she acts really friendly to all the girls because she doesn't want them to suspect her. And even if the guys say something like, oh, but I only dumped you because I thought this other girl liked me, obviously no girl's gonna react well to that, because I'm sorry, I thought we were already dating. You dumped me because you thought someone else liked you? I shouldn't have even started dating you if that's the case. You know, she always plants this idea in their heads without explicitly saying, I really like you and want to date you. But even if she were to say it, she would completely deny it later on if they asked her anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But she's really good at what she does, and she's really sneaky, and as bad of a person as she seems to be, it's kind of interesting to watch. Eventually, the main character and the guy that she has a crush on are kind of seeing each other. It's really cute and endearing, and obviously the girl who's pretending to be the main character's friend but is actually not tries to get in the way again, and at this point the main character is completely sure of what this girl's doing. She knows that she doesn't really mean much of what she says to her and that they were never friends, and she's kind of sad and hurt by this realization, but in the end she's still a really good person. And this was the thing that shocked me the most about this whole show, that I never could have seen it coming. One day she is at the university and she goes into a bathroom and she hears a girl throwing up. It's kind of obvious that she's making herself throw up. She's not throwing up because she's sick or anything. And at this point, I'm completely convinced that it's this sort of chubby girl from the same class as them who is constantly mocked for being too fat, and the guys always tell her that she's gonna end up alone because no one wants to be with a fat girl like her, and stuff like that, and she's always really insecure about her body, and she has said that she tried to go on a bunch of diets, but she never really manages to stick to them for very long, something like that. And in my head, there's no doubt that this is the girl that's in the bathroom throwing up. So the most shocking part of this show is that the girl that comes out of the toilet is actually the mean, popular girl who acts friendly to everyone. And when I see this, I just pause the episode and I'm just kind of in shock, because I never would have thought that she would be the one with an eating disorder. It just never would have occurred to me. And basically she denies it. She says that I was sick from having too much food earlier, or eating something weird at breakfast, something like that. But the main character doesn't believe her and just asks her if she's okay, if she needs anything. And at that point, the girl just leaves the bathroom and I'm sure is feeling very, very paranoid that the main character might publicize the fact that she's making herself throw up. And then you start realizing that the only reason why she was always trying to mess up people's relationships and getting in the way of a good thing happening to somebody else and somebody else getting a bit of attention was because as soon as someone becomes a couple, everyone's talking about it. And she just hated the fact that they weren't talking about her. So basically, I think that whenever she wasn't in the spotlight and in the center of attention and the person that everyone else was talking about, her self-esteem must have been terrible to constantly be doing these things to just mess up everyone else's life to make herself seem better. This is maybe in the last 2 episodes of the show, so throughout the whole thing you kind of end up really, really not liking this girl for being so mean and cruel and pretending to be everyone's friend when she's not. But when you find out that she has an eating disorder and she just really, for her emotional stability, needs to have all the attention, it kind of humanizes her a bit. It just makes her seem a bit more pitiful than evil. I was really, really surprised by it. I think the show did that so well, and I definitely didn't see it coming, but it ended in a pretty cliche way though. Basically, the evil but not really that evil girl is stalked by someone, and this guy stalker attacks her just outside of her house. She tries to kill herself, but the main character stops her from doing it and just convinces her that, you know, you don't have to do this, you don't have to be the prettiest or the most popular, whatever, to be worthy of love and respect and to be liked by people. You can just be yourself. And I also thought that that scene was pretty well done, because the main character also talks a little bit about how she had all this plastic surgery done to change her face when she should have just focused on what was inside of her and not really cared so much about what she looked like, even if other people cared about it. And the show basically ended with the evil girl character going to therapy and taking some time off university to just try to get better mentally. And the main character ends up with the guy that she likes, and for her boyfriend's birthday she gets him this hoodie, and she bought a matching one for herself, which is a very cliche coupley thing to do in Korea, to wear matching clothes in some way. So the next day they're just walking together holding hands wearing matching hoodies, and she asks him if maybe she should have just gotten the one for him and not the one for herself, because she doesn't like all the attention and just feeling like she's being very looked at. And he just says, who cares what anyone else thinks, just do whatever you want. Which is such a nice and cute way of ending the show, because that's kind of the main message of the show. Just regardless of what other people think of how you look or how you dress or the things you like or your appearance overall, just do what you want to do and do what makes you happy. So yeah, this was maybe the first Korean show that I've ever watched from the first to the last episode almost without stopping. I think I watched the whole show in like 3 days. I just couldn't stop binge watching it because it was interesting and a bit different, and it had plot twists that I really would not have expected. I would recommend it if you're into high school or college romance shows, but it's definitely a little bit different than the standard in my opinion, but I really enjoyed it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.